the Battle of the Bulge broke out and all that stuff, where they needed replacements. So they called me up in there, and that's the reason that I got over there at that time. We were on the Queen Elizabeth, and we landed in Omaha, and a pretty well dilapidated coast at the time, you know. And it kind of scared us when we seen it. We were scared anyway, period, but right away we thought, oh, we didn't know what we were getting into, but we all accepted it. I don't think anybody complained. So evidently they had a company already planned out for me to go in there. So they put me in a company, and then they told me I'm charge of a squad. And at the time I told them, then they made me a sergeant. And I told them, I said, well, I really don't want to be a sergeant because I don't know these guys. I can't give them orders. They wouldn't listen to me. But that turned around the other way. They asked me all different kind of questions, you know. And we got along real well as far as that goes. As a squad leader, I started pointing more I wanted these guys of mine to be in case they counterattack. And I got them all set, and then all of a sudden they gave us the artillery from the Germans, you know. And evidently I got hit in the right leg at that time. And I didn't know, I thought I just thumped, you know. And then of course, the guys crowded around me. I want to know how bad it was and all that stuff, because they didn't have nobody in charge there, you know. And same thing too. That's the first time I heard the guys say, "Boy, are you lucky? Boy, are you lucky?" Here I'm moaning around there with that broken leg. And then they explained it to me later. They knew I was going to go back to the rear lines, that I couldn't go no further. And we were marching up there towards the front. I think it was on the way to Luxembourg, if I'm not surprised. And it was real cold, and we couldn't change our stockings, anything. They were wet and dirty and muddy. So we come to a little farmhouse that was on a barn, rather, and on the way. And it was towards evening. I think it was about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. And I told the guys, I said, well, how about if we just go in here and stay there overnight, or a few hours, get some sleep? And we were all tired. And they said, well, we couldn't see in there. It was so dark. Couldn't light a cigarette match or nothing, you know. And so they just got in there. We just pulled a straw around in there and kind of made as much bed as we could. But anyway, to get up in the morning, we got up and we slept as 3 dead horses. Frozen solid, there's nothing in there. One town we took, that was during the bulge. I think I had it written there. We got in there, we had to take one side of the road, and another group had to take the other side and search everything, open the door, search for everything, you know. Well, we were going along pretty good, and we were just shooting and back and forth. And then we got into this one building, and we thought that somebody was in there, so we told them to come out, and they wouldn't come out, so we fired some rounds in there. And then when we did get in there was 4 Germans dressed in real good army clothes, like they must have been some kind of officers or close to being officers. And they were just standing by this here table. And of course, the 6 of us were there, so we told them to put their hands up, and they just didn't do nothing. And so I fired a few rounds above their head to scare them or something. They still didn't budge, you know. So I told the guys, I said, we'll cover them. And I took the butt of the rifle and poked one guy in the side. He fell over on the other ones, and they were all dead. And we couldn't figure out what it was unless it was combustion or if a bomb fell near and took all the air out, and they just suffocated or whatever it is. But then we called for help behind. We told them that they had this. He said, well, told us not to touch them or anything. And they again, I imagine they did, stripped them down and seen what they could find them on them. But I never did know definitely what they got killed from, you know. And that scared the hell out of us. We thought that they could live even afterwards or something. A lot of jokes were going around at that time.